Hello, Internet, and welcome back to Antiheroes Anonymous, or welcome for the first time if it's your first time joining us. I'm Ethan, and I'm the Dungeon Master for this 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons show. I will have a recap as well as some announcements before we get into the actual show for tonight. But before I get into any of that, Nick, would you go ahead and start off some player introductions?
Sure. Hi, I'm Nick. I play Embers of White Ash, the Tabaxi Monk.
Hi, I'm Kay. I play Lady Elwyn Amalos, the Elvish Druid.
Hello, I am Melissa, and I play Tiny Tuppence Wiseacre, his little fairy bard.
Hi, I'm Zach, and I play Rook, who is a changeling artificer.
So, those announcements real quick. We premiere our episodes on YouTube every Monday at 7 p.m. Pacific time, unless I accidentally set it to premiere at 7 a.m. Pacific time, which never happens. Throughout the show, we use a variety of custom items, as well as we have a custom lineage in play with the pixie that Melissa is playing. Our character portraits, which you'll see all over our layout, were drawn by an artist named Krista Porter, who goes by @Krista Porter with 2 R's at the end on Twitter. If you need a refresher on anything that's going on in the campaign, we have a campaign wiki at World Anvil. There's an especially useful page right on the homepage. There's a link to it, which is just kind of a running recap of everything that's gone on in the show thus far since we started this new campaign. And I'm trying to keep that up to date, so that should be a good place to go for catching up quickly. Other than that, you can check the video description for links and information to everything I just mentioned and more, including some Stop Asian Hate and Black Lives Matter resources. So be sure to check those out. Finally, just go ahead and follow us on Twitter if you enjoy the show at Antiheroes Anon. And lastly, we just hope you come back, share with your friends, and have a good time watching. So, without further ado, let's roll our intro video. And welcome back. Previously on Antiheroes Anonymous, the party took a job to infiltrate a cargo ship and found within it cages filled with strange creatures. Their client, it turned out, was an Imperial warden who implored them to continue investigating. After fighting off doppelrats in their home base, the inn known as the Millhouse, as well as a malevolent ape creature in the streets, the Silver Seekers then navigated the Dens, a kobold ward of the city, in order to find Molo, a kobold. Man, I am just tripping over my words. Molo, a kobold who they believed may be mixed up with the Dragontooth Brotherhood, which it turns out is a very dangerous gang that seems to be up to some mischief. Molo, when they found him, revealed that the creatures from the cages on the ship, as well as the doppelrat they fought in the Millhouse, and the ape they fought in the streets, are actually a distraction for a caravan raid that is the first step towards restoring the power of the dragons of a bygone age. And Molo also revealed a little tasty bit of information that Governor Nyasa, the leader of the city, is somehow involved in the plot. In what capacity? It's unclear. And with that, we'll jump right back into the action. So after infiltrating the dens and dragging Molo out of his warren, Actually, you convinced him to come with you. It wasn't so much dragging. You have returned to sort of the northern quarter of the city, where the inn that you're staying at is, the inn known as the Millhouse. And you've returned to your residence to find that it is already a busy night within the tavern. You can see that Nora is hard at work serving up, dinner to her patrons, as well as drinks. Tess, the sort of purple-scaled kobold who you've befriended, and alternatively sort of offended with your use of mind-affecting magic, is busy waiting the tables with it throughout the establishment. And you can see that the tiny alehouse dragon known as Malt is up in the rafters. He came over towards your direction when you came in and greeted you, promptly drawing the attention of your new kobold friend Molo, who went into sort of a fanboy frenzy at the sight of a dragon. And that is where we're picking up. Dragon! Dragon, 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 dragon! What would you like to do?
Oh boy.
Hmm.
Did Malt say anything when he came over, or did Mullo just basically just
Is he just chasing him?
Well,
Malt had greeted you and sort of asked how things went. And then I think you gave a little bit of a brief, yeah, things went well. And then Molo chimed in with the outburst of fanboy energy. Malt looks very like put off by this. Like his eyes have gone wide and he's like definitely backing up down the rafter a little ways.
should I go find Tess?
She's visible within the tavern. She seems to be waiting tables. And in
Okay,
fact,
has she noticed Molo yet?
yeah, she would hear his big outburst and look in this direction, and she sets down what she was carrying on the table, but then basically runs over this direction and grabs Molo in a big hug, and then the two begin talking animatedly. There's the word in Draconic to each other.
Well, now that's sorted. What's our plan? Should we take a minute, have some dinner, and then go out and see Mr. Brenworm?
That sounds like a good
I
idea.
know. Yeah, I'm hungry and I'm tired. Do you think we're gonna get in any more trouble tonight?
I hope not.
If we are, I think I'd rather sleep first and see him in the morning, but I'll leave it up to you guys.
I think now would be a good chance to see him.
Or maybe we could have some dinner and ask Malt to go and fetch him for us, maybe.
That's another
I
good
like-
idea.
I like that idea.
Is Malt still around, or did he fly off?
He seems to have temporarily retreated to. He has kind of like a small structure that serves as like living quarters, which is built up among the rafters that he retreats to at night. And also, you've seen him fly into there when he is retrieving payments. He seems to have retreated into there for now.
Tuppence, didn't you say you could contact him somehow?
I used to be able to do that, but I'll fly up and talk to him.
Oh, that's the thing that you don't have anymore. Never mind.
Yeah, but I don't mind. I'll fly up. I'll fly up and talk to him. I'll try not to startle him too much.
Okay. While Tuppence is doing that, I'm gonna look down at Molo and say, do you want this? And I'll hold out the jar that has a scorpion in it, or a centipede, or whatever it is.
Oh, many-legged bitey bugs. Of course. I will take this if you don't want it.
No, I probably don't want it.
Okay. I don't know where to put it though. I don't have. Do I have a den here? Is there a place where I can make a circle of rocks and curl around or something?
sure we can figure something out.
Okay, well, I'll hold on to it for now.
Yeah.
There's always the space where the cage was.
That's true.
Tess can probably show you.
He turns to Tess and starts talking to her in Draconic again, and she kind of is. She gets a little bit more energetic and outgoing when she's speaking with him in Draconic, but she's still much quieter than him. But the two have a brief conversation, and he turns back to the group of you and he says, "Oh yeah, Tess says I can just stay with her in her room, so I guess we're good."
Oh, okay. Great.
I'm gonna go put the centipedes up there. Tess is gonna show me where it is.
All right. You guys take care then.
Okay. Yeah, and the two of them scurry off upstairs, and you can see that across the bar, Nora gives a little bit of a kind of an exasperated look at the sight of her little helper scurrying off in the middle of a busy stretch of time.
Okay.
Do we
So
want
I'll
to pause
fly
and say hi? Okay.
up. So Tuppence will fly up and talk to Malt about possibly getting Torin over.
Okay. Yeah, you fly up. I don't think anyone has kind of peeked into this structure yet. It's like it's built among the rafters, and it's just kind of a like there's been a floor affixed to the rafters, and then it has kind of just a couple simple walls, and there's an entryway into it that's just kind of carved out with a little bit of a curtain that he can push aside to go in. So you go up there, and do you kind of peek in, or do you call out to him?
Well, I'll try to knock on one of the walls
Oh, okay.
and say, "Hello, can I talk to you? I mean, Malt, can I talk to you for a second?"
Yeah,
Tuppence!
there's a little bit of a shuffle inside, and you hear a little bit of clinking of coins or things like that. And then his head pokes out through the curtain, and you can catch a little bit of a glimpse inside, and you can see that he has basically a big pile of coins and other various treasures that are piled in the middle of the chamber, and there's a clear indent on the top of the treasure pile that he was sleeping upon.
Okay, I'm gonna hold up my hands and say, "Not here to steal from you, promise."
Good. You'd be in trouble if you did. People have
Well,
tried before.
I get in trouble for lots of things, but thieving is not one. Okay, so the gang, we told you everything went well, but we're kind of pooped and hungry. And we were thinking it would be kind of nice if we wanted to talk to Torin and you had a way to get hold of him. Would it be okay if he came over and ate dinner with us so we could talk to him?
Oh, you mean the dragonborn man who requested the job that you fulfilled?
Correct. That would be correct. Him.
Hmm.
The big loud one.
He was loud, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I don't go out into the city often. I did to fetch Megan because Nora requested it and the situation seemed pressing. And he kind of like comes out more fully and gestures down towards the crowd below. It's prime hours for overhearing at the moment, as you can see. Who would do my job if I were not here?
I could listen for you.
Let's put you to the test then, shall we?
Sure, fine. Fine.
Do a good job and we'll see about it.
All right.
Okay. You look around the tavern and there's various groups who seem to be in, animated discussions over dinner or drinks. Go ahead and roll both a stealth check and a perception check.
For a second, what do I do with my dice? Okay, stealth and perception. Stealth is 17, and perception is the same roll. 14 plus 1 is 15.
Okay, those are both good rolls. Yeah, you kind of cling to the rafters so that it's difficult to see you from below and kind of quietly creep out over one of these tables. Would you roll for me a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a D8, please?
That is a 7.
7. Let's see. Yeah, you hear a group of, 2 people talking, and it seems like they might be city officials in some capacity. They look like they're pretty well dressed, and they have kind of papers and, like notebooks and things like filled with charts and numbers and data spread out across the table, and they're poring over those as they're having this dinner. And one of them says to the other, "Hey, so I've been thinking, now that Vogma and Artelier and Vidun are part of the Empire, you think there's anything holding the city back from trying to get a train in place? I mean, previously we could only really go to Daegu. I mean, the Spellscar Desert was in the way of going anywhere else in the Empire, but now we're not so isolated. What do you think? Do you think that we could kind of bring that up at one of the budget meetings?" And the other person kind of is chewing on food, and it looks like their mouth is full throughout all of this, and they're like, but when they finally, swallow that bite, they respond, that would be pretty great if I'm honest. Sergel just gets so cold in the winter. It would be nice to have an easy way to just travel, north a little bit, get out of the snow and the ice. You know what? I say we do it. Let's bring it up in the budget meeting. And they both have another like long drink of their ale. It seems like they've been drinking a bit already. And they both get pretty excited about this idea that, maybe the time has come for the city of Port Horizon Shroud to, start beginning to build like a railway in this region.
Ooh, that's exciting. Okay, so I'll fly back up and I'll let Malt know what I heard. And I'm really excited about it too. You think it'll happen? Or are they just drunk?
He kind of looks down at the two of them and then kind of seems to study them and gauge their level of drunkenness. No, I'd say it's possible, in fact, plausible. They'll remember their idea in the morning. Whether they consider it a good one, then we'll see. But that would be an interesting development for this region of the Empire. That is certain. And he nods and seeming satisfied. Fine. I don't want to miss the busiest hours, so I'm going to stay here a little while longer. But later this evening, I'll fly into the city and try to find your friend. Do you know where I should go?
Where is he? Hold on, let me go ask my friends. Just a second, I'll be right back. Fly down. Owen, where's Torin?
If I remember correctly, he told us that he was in Thrimsgate,
Thrimsgate.
I believe.
Okay, I'll
Is
be
that
right
correct,
back.
DM?
Yeah, he said that he is part of the Thrimsgate division of the Imperial Wardens. He gave you directions to a Imperial Wardens barracks in sort
Yes.
of, maybe the northwestern part of the city. So it's not terribly far from here. And he said that if he wasn't there, which it's possible and that he might not be, that you could speak to one of his commanding officers and they would put you in contact with him.
I relay all of that. I remind Tuppence of this conversation that we had.
Hey, Owen, order me dinner. I've got Malt tucked into it. but I'll eat first and then I'll take over for him up there. Okay, but can you order me some food?
Of course.
Be right back.
All right.
Fly back up. Convey it to Malt.
All right. Very well. I know the warden barracks. I can't say I've been in myself, but I will do my best to find this man and bring him here.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. You're the best. I like your digs up here too, but they seem kind of cold. Don't you want some furniture or something up here?
He pulls the drapes aside so you can get a better look inside, and there's actually sort of cushions around the sides of the little enclosure, and also there's candles and things that are lit in there as well.
Mulch crib.
He says, "No, the
Cozy.
candles keep me quite warm, and I have my cushions."
Okay, that's better. I thought it was all just cold, hard cash. Okay. I'll go eat and then I'll come back up. Just let me know when you're ready.
Very well. I'll be listening for a little while longer, and I'll let you know when I'm ready to depart.
Thank you, thank you. Bye.
Zoom, Tuppence flies across the room. What have the rest of you been doing?
I think I would send Rook to go get food.
Okay.
Be like, hey, I bought the snacks earlier. It's your treat.
I mean, it's free anyway, so
Isn't
sure.
it? I know.
That's true.
I was just
So
thinking,
Rook just
isn't
kind
it
of looks
Nora's
at you,
treat?
like, physical, like, yeah, I'll take care of this. So,
And I will put my arm through Embers' arm, kind of link arms, and say, let's go find a table, shall we? And kind of pat her on the arm
Yeah,
as
I'll
we
go
walk
along.
together. And when we find a table, I will sit down next to her and I will say, well, I think you had quite a bit of a rough time of it down there. Are you feeling all right?
My pride is more damaged than anything else. Thank you for your healing spells.
Oh, well, it was my pleasure if I can be of some aid. They were tricky little things, weren't they? Kind of
Mm,
cute, though.
Very cute, very cute.
I heard you didn't hurt any of them, though. I think that's very admirable.
I don't think it was.
Oh?
I meant to. This is something I meant to say to Tuppence. Do you mind if we wait a moment?
Well, sure. But before the rest of us come, I did want to talk to you about something else, if that's all right.
All right.
We are planning to go talk to Mr. Brenworm, and him being part of the Wardens, I know is a little bit of a sore spot for you. Are you really okay with this?
I don't like him, but it is part of the tenets of my faith that anyone can be redeemed, even a worm. And so I would like it if you, or Tuppence, or even Rook, would do something that I can't, which is talk to him.
I think that's easy enough for us to do. But I don't think any of us want to do anything that makes you uncomfortable or goes against your values. So if you don't want us to allow him to help us, if you would rather us do this by ourselves.
It would be within my values to show him what we can do and allow him to accompany us and prove to him that ours is a better way than the worms. That's what I would like you to convince him of.
All right. I think I understand. If that's the case, maybe we can come up with a safe word or something. If anytime you get uncomfortable, you can just say something like Snow Bunny, because he's a white dragonborn, Something like that. You could choose the word if it makes you uncomfortable, and then we can just ditch him and we can go somewhere else and leave him behind.
I'll try to work Snow Bunny into a natural conversation.
Snow bunnies are real cute. Have you ever seen one? Especially when they're babies.
I haven't been. Don't do well in the snow.
Oh, really? I would have thought with your white fur you'd be quite at home there. And it's not really a warm place here anyway.
I don't mind the cold. It's the wet. Ugh. Ember shudders a little bit.
Well, do I have a treat for you? And I'm going to wave my fingers. And as I do so, there are like silvery kind of sparks that look like the glisten on top of snow. And I cast Minor Illusion. And as I do, across the table are all these cute little baby snow bunnies just hopping, just to show Embers what they look like. See, aren't they cute?
Adorable.
And I'm just going to be doing that while we wait for Rookin and Tuppence to come.
Yeah, but I do want to talk to Tuppence when she gets back.
Sure.
Tuppence is probably still at this point up talking to Malt. But Rook, as you go over and talk to Nora to request some food and drink, she sees you coming and kind of slides over to the section of the bar that you're headed towards. Well, hello, Rook. I'm glad
Hi,
to see
Nora.
the group of you are back again
Nice to
for
see
the
you
night.
too.
How did things go? I saw you brought back another kobold. Am I expected to take this one in as well? The budget can we can make it work, but I'll admit, too many more kobolds and I'm not going to be able to pay them.
Yeah, Rick just laughs and smiles and says, yeah, we sort of, things went well. We kind of want him to be in a safe place for a little while, if that's okay. So if you can have him for a little bit, that would help.
Yeah, sure. This place is as safe as any, and it's
sure
the
he can
happiest
help
I've
out.
seen
Yeah.
us in a while. So if having him around will put a smile on that girl's face, then I'm happy to, give him housing for a little bit. But like I said, bring back too many more, and I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, Rook nods and says that's very sweet. And no, we're not planning on bringing more kobolds. But I'm sure he can, I'm sure he can help out like Tess, so he can pull his weight a little bit.
Well, I will have Tess talk to him and see what
That's a good way to go
he's
about
up for.
Yeah.
Seemed like he was pretty interested in Malt as well, and I'll be honest, I love anything that gets under Malt's skin.
Oh, you will
The
like
dragon
him a lot
has
then. I think even if that's
a
all he
large
does
opinion
here,
of himself.
yeah, he will be very excitable whenever Malt's around. So
Well, then that's good enough for me. And as she's saying this, she's she's sliding you a couple plates of food as well as drinks, and she's placing them all on a tray.
yeah, and Rick just helps her.
Once she has all the food in place, she says, "Oh, that reminds me. I almost forgot in the busy rush, but a package came for you today.
For me or for us? And motions to
For you. It was specifically for you. Do you want it now? It's in the back. I can go get it, or I could bring it to you later."
Yeah, why don't you bring it to me later?
Okay. Well, I guess I will just drop by after, when things calm down here a bit.
Yeah, when we're done with Torin, I'll come and see you, and I can look at it.
Okay, sounds good. I can hold it in the back until now. I'll admit, strange. The person who brought it by was a little bit weird. But I see all sorts, so
yeah, I think
I'm not
Rick
one to
kind of like
judge.
looks around and like I think you get plenty here, so probably isn't too weird. Hopefully.
Just a little bit furtive, I suppose.
Did you catch their name or anything? Is it on the package?
No, I didn't. It's wrapped up pretty simply and just sealed with wax, but there's no writing on it addressing it to anyone or saying who it's from. I think it was a woman. I don't know. I didn't really see much of her. She kept her hood up, but she insisted that it gets to you.
Rick, you can see Rick sort of just like thinking for a little bit, like kind of like a who could it be type of thought process. Can you tell me anything about this woman? Like what she looked like? I know you said your hood was up. Is she tall? Is she?
I didn't see much. I only, assume she might have been a woman based on kind of a feminine voice, and she seemed to have kind of longish blonde hair. That's all I really saw under the hood.
Hmm. Okay.
Unfortunately, I know that's not much to go on.
Well,
Like I said, it was weird. She seemed a little bit defensive when I asked what name I could give, and then she was out the door before I could question further.
well, I appreciate it, Mara. But yeah, I'll take a look later. Thanks for letting me
All
know.
right, I'll bring it by when I see a lull.
Yep. Thank you. And then with that, Rook will grab the tray and start walking and looking for the table and heading over there.
I think at this point, Tuppence zooms back.
Zoom! Oh, I see Owen is Joeing like a felon.
I'm not sure I know what that means, sugar.
Me either. I'm hungry. Let's eat.
Tuppence, I was very impressed with you today.
Oh, really? I got into a little bit of trouble. Me and my big mouth. Big little mouth.
I thought I am very skilled at throwing punches, but I don't know how to fight, is what I learned today. I still have some learning to do there, and I think that you taught me a lot, which is that I can't let a threat go undealt with, even if my intention is not to harm people. If they're trying to harm me, it won't get anywhere by ignoring them. And I think I could have helped you all more today if I had been more willing to do what you did, which is lead with words, but be willing to follow up with action.
Yeah, well, we'll call yours a block attack. It was a good block attack. That probably helped more than you realize.
Where did you learn to fight the way you did today?
Why? By the seat of my pants. Or skirt, as it were. I'm not a fighter.
Fool me.
Could have fooled all the kobolds too. The ones you left unconscious in the tunnel. As you guys are starting to dig into your food, you hear a scraping sound as a chair is pulled up next to you, and hopping up into it, you see the brown-scaled form of Molo. Well, what's for dinner? Where's mine? So give me one? How do I get one? Are there any mushrooms?
I
Yeah,
will
you
just
wanted
give him
mushrooms,
my bowl.
Whoa!
Scoot my bowl over. Here you go.
Well, looks really good. We don't have
It's
anything like
delicious.
this in the dens.
Help yourself. They have fine cooking here.
It seems confused by like the utensils, so just kind of like scoops a claw into the bowl and starts shoveling food in his mouth.
I saw
Yeah,
you
that's
got
real good.
I saw you got to catch up with Tess.
Oh yeah, I feel like I haven't seen her in quite a while, even though it's only been a few days, to be honest.
She seemed very happy to see you.
I think she was just happy that you didn't kill me. It seems she wasn't quite sure.
Well, let no one say we don't keep our word.
We
Yeah, well,
promised her, and we promised you, and we'll keep those promises.
I'm pretty thankful for that, but to be honest, I saw the way the group of you fight, and I think you could have. I'm a strong fighter, but I think you could have killed me.
Oh yeah, well you saw what this little one did to the rest of your friends, right?
Yes, this is real scary. You're so small.
She's the scariest one of all of us.
People don't think much of kobolds because we're so tiny. So I looked at you and I thought, well, she's tinier than me, so no problem. But that was not the case.
Explosive.
Well, see what happens when you can wing it. You can always be brave when you know you've got a group behind you.
That's true. He seems to realize something. Oh, I hope all of my friends back in my warren are okay. I kind of just left them snoozing there. Oh,
I'm sure they'll be fine, sugar.
We've got a store of mushrooms. They'll be okay.
They'll be just fine. You all seem to be a very clever group.
Hmm.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
we're
you'll find a
very
way.
smart. We set up all the traps and
Yeah, very clever.
scavenge throughout the city to get everything we need.
Rook, aren't you interested in learning about some of those?
Maybe to some degree, potentially.
I, for
Well,
one,
the other thing about kobolds is we're very protective of our secrets, so I don't know if the traps mess with Chichu, but we'll see.
am very glad to be. And it was just like stretches to her full height
Oh yeah,
out of the dens.
not squishing anymore.
hmm
Yeah, it was very tight down there, wasn't it?
That didn't bother me, but the dark. Oh, I don't like being in the dark.
Well, the
Me
dark
either.
suits me just fine. You too, right, Rook?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it.
Well, we're all different.
Insight check. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I have no reason to doubt you. I have no reason to doubt you.
Also, I think Rook does like the dark, just can't see very well in it.
Yeah, no, he likes the dark. Yeah. He's like, now the bright sunlight, I don't like that at all.
Oh, me neither.
Yeah, that can stay away, but dark is
Me
all
either.
right. Yeah, see, you get it. You guys get it.
Yeah, I mean, with that, you guys have a sort of nice dinner. Like it stays busy in the tavern for quite a while, so Malt is a little bit reluctant to leave his post for a while. If there's anything that you want to do in the meantime.
I think Rook would stand up and go grab Elwyn a bowl since she gave hers away, so he'd bring back another bowl of food.
Oh, that's very sweet of you.
Otherwise, I want to know what that thing is that I found in the mushroom room.
Oh yeah, you want to pull out this mushroom and look at it?
Yeah, so he kind of pulls out that spotted mushroom and kind of like looks at it over dinner a little bit.
Molo will see you looking at it. Hold on, I just have to find what this mushroom did. I wrote it down. Okay. Yeah. You'll remember it was like a kind of like a pure white color with like red bumps that form like a ridge going across the top.
On one side of it or something?
Yeah, kind of just like straight down the middle.
Okay.
When Molo sees you examining it, did you want to try and make like an Arcana check to get it on your own, or do you want?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to see if I could figure it out myself.
All right, see if you can figure it out.
Are
I would
you
say
gonna
then.
show it to me too.
I don't think he's
'Cause I
like
could-
trying. He's not like trying to hide it, but he's kind of just like looking at it, maybe just like not really trying to like ask for help either. So it might be hard to see.
Okay.
But
Well, anyone then who, I guess, if Elwyn wanted to make a check, it would be like an Arcana or a Nature check, I guess.
I thought maybe nature, being a druid, maybe.
yeah, so let's. You want me to just do Arcana?
Yep.
Can I give myself guidance?
Sure. I don't see why not.
Okay, so that's a 21.
21.
Guidance.
Okay, and then how did Elwyn do? I didn't catch that.
10.
And okay.
My mic was freaking
So I
out.
think if Rook notices Elwyn interested in kind of looking at it too, then he probably like scoots a little closer, and then they can look at it together and just like chat about it over dinner.
I've never
Yeah.
seen anything like that before.
Yeah.
Elwyn, all you can really tell about it is that it's not really a natural mushroom.
Right.
Like it's very clearly something. There's something to this mushroom.
Not really a natural mushroom, you know? There's very clearly something to it.
But Rook, as you kind of do more of like a scientific examining of the thing, like I might imagine you'd take out some of your tools, like magnifying glass or something, and get a close look at it.
Yeah, he probably pulls like his jeweler's kit out and uses some of that to get a closer look, or maybe like just kind of squishes it a little bit and kind of like smells it and stuff and tries to like think about it.
Yeah. I don't know how you come to the conclusion that this is what this thing does, but with that Arcana check, you learn what this thing does. This mushroom is it's a type of magical mushroom.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't grow very commonly anywhere. that you know of, but when consumed, a creature who consumes it can no longer speak language. Instead, they can only cluck or croon like a chicken. And you can speak and understand chickens. Speak to and understand chickens. And it lasts for about an hour.
Speak languages, but can only cluck and speak chicken.
Yep.
So I'm guessing what Rook does, maybe he does this to get to the conclusion, is he takes a little tiny bit and like puts it in his mouth. And then maybe he hiccups, he's like, and he's like, oh my gosh. He's like,
Oh, you got a cluck cluck mushroom. Lucky you.
and Rook's like, oh, what? What? Whoa, what?
Yeah, cluck cluck mushroom.
Okay.
I think Elwyn just loses it and she's just laughing
Yeah.
hysterically.
think-
Embers as well. It's just like,
Rook takes a little bit
just
and
like pounding the table.
Rook like takes a little bit and like puts it in Owen's mouth.
Oh, so funny.
Oh, this is gonna be great.
You
Oh
talk
my
like chickens.
Never.
We might be able to find a use for it, I suppose. Maybe.
Maybe we'll like if we ever have a party, we'll just kind of sprinkle it on something.
Oh, a nice chicken party. That sounds like fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, shoot. This is
Oh my
interesting.
god.
What a find.
Just trying to imagine what Olo uses this for.
Well, to be honest, I didn't even know that was growing in there. You found that in my garden?
Is that what that place was called?
Oh yeah, the mushroom garden.
Oh, okay. Yeah, caught my eye.
Well, you're so lucky.
Well, maybe mushrooms have senses of humor too.
More like clucky.
Oh, that's a good one.
That was a good one. I like it.
Cluck mushroom. That's what I'm calling it now. Okay.
All right.
Is it-
Is there anything else anyone
Hey,
wants
Rick,
to do with the evening?
Does it taste like chicken?
Here, try some. He takes a little piece off and hands it to Tuppence.
It has kind of like a grainy taste to it, actually.
Okay.
It tastes like chicken feed.
Yep.
No, I don't have anything. Nothing for Embers.
Just more cluck occasions, but I'm good.
Yeah, I have nothing.
Okay. Then at a certain point in the evening, does Tuppence want to do anything? Do you want to like play your music or save that for later?
Too tired tonight.
Too tired tonight. Fair enough. Yeah, at a certain point in the evening, Malt comes down and says, all right, things seem to be winding down, so I'll venture out into the city and find your friend.
Mom, you're the best. Really.
Thank you.
Thanks, Malt.
Where's not?
And with that, Malt leaves.
How does Molo react to Malt coming down?
He just seems like he goes kind of wide-eyed, like, "Rah, dragon!"
Okay, thanks.
Yeah. And since things are winding down, Nora also kind of catches Rook's eye and kind of, mouths, "Now a good time?" across the room, and like points at the back room.
Oh yeah, I think. Well, yeah, that's a good time. So Rook will excuse me for a few minutes here, and then he'll walk over to Nora and yeah, let's take a look at that package.
You can open it in the back if you want, or if you want, you can just once I hand it over to you, it's yours. You could just take it over to your friends. It's up to you. Anyways, it's back here, and she takes you back into the kitchen, and in the corner, there is like a rather large-sized package wrapped in kind of plain brown paper. It's large, but you can carry it in like two hands. It's not huge. And she puts it in your hands, and as she kind of picks it up, you can hear the clinking of glass inside of it. And
Okay.
yeah, as you look at the package, you
Mhm.
do notice one thing which Nora did not pick up on. The wax seal that is holding all of the paper packaging in place, it's this kind of red wax, and it is pressed with an insignia with a potion bottle in the center,
Mhm.
an insignia that you recognize well.
Oh, okay. Let me write this down. Yeah, so I think Rook will, um, once Nora's gone, then he'll kind of stand there for a second and look at it and be like, all right, well, he's gonna cast as a ritual, he's gonna cast detect magic.
Okay. Detect magic is only blocked by like stone walls and like lead, right? Like it can go through wood and stuff. There is there's definitely a magic aura emanating from the inside of this package. Let me just see what sort of aura it would be, because you learn the school as well.
Mm-hmm.
There's clearly a powerful abjuration aura in there.
Okay.
But it would also be accompanied by, hold on. A couple smaller evocation auras.
Okay, and then he would also use the second charge of the Wand of Secrets and see if there's traps.
So that reveals what? Traps and secret passageways, is that it?
Yes, I believe so. Let me, if you'd like, I have it up.
And it spins towards the nearest one,
If a
correct?
secret door or trap is within 30 feet of you, the wand pulses and points at the one nearest to you. So he'd be right next to it.
The wand does spin and point to something, but it is not the package. And you look in that direction and you can see, carefully hidden in a corner of the room, there are a series of mouse traps. But those are farther away than your package.
So he chuckles and then, all right, well, let's get this over with. So he'll just kind of peel away the packaging and we'll take a look.
Okay. Inside is a wooden crate, which has to be kind of pried open, but there's any number of tools in this kitchen that can be used to pry open the crate's lid. And once you do so, you see a variety, like 4 objects, I think, nestled in there.
Okay.
And they're kind of packaged with like straw, because all of them are in glass containers. So there's straw in there to keep things from breaking. There are 3 small like potion bottles filled with a pink reddish liquid.
Okay.
And then there's a larger, and this is what's in sort of the center of the package, there is a larger glass jug, which is filled with a sort of mercury-like metallic looking liquid that kind of moves with a little bit of a viscousness to it. And there's also it looks like a sealed envelope on top of all of that. But you recognize the jug containing this metallic liquid.
Okay.
It's something you saw frequently on one of the tables when you would have visited your father's laboratory when you were younger.
Let me see. I'm just typing right now.
Did Rook recognize the seal?
He did.
Yes.
I think you started to say that you recognize it, and then you didn't finish the thing.
Didn't finish the thing.
The sentence.
Wait, was I saying something else?
No, Ethan was.
No, Nick's trying to pry more information out of me, but nope, I'm not giving it.
I'm like, what did I say? I'm
All right, fair.
Okay.
Well played. Well played.
Nice try, Nick. That is recognizable. Okay. And what is this that I?
What it is, you don't know, because your father
I'm
and
familiar
you
with
never
it, but I don't.
Yeah, you never.
Okay.
He never showed you what this one does. or anything like that, but you definitely recognize it as one of the artifacts that
Mhm.
was in his laboratory.
So I know the like origin, but okay, got it. All right, so yeah, I guess Rook will grab the note and take a look at that too.
Okay. It's just a little small envelope, and you open it up, and there's a kind of a paper card put in there. You pull that out, and written on it in very nondescript handwriting, just kind of very plain. There's not really any like flourishes to it or anything like that. It just says, "I thought it was about time these were returned to you, and hope that they will protect you from any troubles the future may bring. Sincerely, E," as in the letter E.
Um, I hope they protect you.
Hope they will protect you from any troubles the future may bring.
E. All right. So Rick kind of nods and he thinks for a moment. Do I recognize what's inside the potions, the red, pink potions?
Yeah, make an Arcana check real quick. It'll be a pretty low DC, I think.
Sure.
Because like, which one of my friends with named E could this be from?
I was just thinking that.
Yeah,
Another
exactly. Elwin, Embers, who was it?
Ethan.
Ethan. I got 13.
Yeah, they're potions of healing.
I thought so. What kind of potions of healing are they? Just
the base level.
base level? Okay, the lesser, whatever that's called. Okay. So I guess I can't really. Yeah. Sure. So, Rook will, I guess, grab those things, and he'll probably try and dispose of all the extra packaging. He'll kind of like bunch it up again and grab the potions. He'll store away the letters in his satchel, and then how big is the jug in the middle? It's like you said it was like.
I mean, it's not huge. Think of a
But you can kind
descriptor
of like
for
wrap
it.
your
Like
arms
it's kind
around
of
it
like
pretty
a
easily.
vase, yeah.
Okay.
Like a flower vase, sort of that size. Like a large flower vase, but yeah.
So, I guess. Oh, geez. Yeah, Rook will leave the back room, and he'll start heading out to the dining area, and he'll start walking upstairs. He'll just kind of like.
You want to make a stealth check? Or are you just going to let your friends see you?
Hey, they can see me.
Okay.
He's just
Yeah, all of
carrying-
you spot Rook
I'd like to roll
carrying
insight
things up the
on
stairs.
Rook.
Okay. Yeah, you can roll insight on Rook.
We all live in pretty much the same room.
Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah,
it's
we
kind
do.
of.
We do. Oh Jesus! I have rolled a 3 and a 5 so far tonight. This is
So you're
going
like
really
"Bok,
well.
bok."
8.
What are you trying to find out?
I'm just trying to get a read on you because you going off with Nora was a little bit sus to me.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what are they up to? So just
And then
trying
I'm
to
carrying out this weird stuff.
any information that I can get from your body language with an 8.
So his body language, he's not trying to like hide anything. But it's, I guess what you can see is that he has like sort of a purposeful walk when he's leaving. He's like trying to. You can sense that he's leaving to do a thing, and you don't know what that is.
Okay.
So
Sounds
he's kind of
good.
like eyes forward, just on the path to somewhere. But yeah, he's gonna go back upstairs.
Okay.
But we can go back to the table if you want, or we can.
If no one follows, Rook goes upstairs. What would the rest of you like to do?
Eavesdropping.
You eavesdrop around the tavern?
Oh, yeah.
From the eaves. Yeah, that's
Okay.
my job. Man.
Roll another stealth and perception check.
That stealth is 11,
Okay.
and the perception check is 18.
You're pretty sure you're going unseen. And you definitely overhear something else. Roll another D8.
5.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, okay. You overhear a group of merchants who are, talking around a table, maybe one by the fire. And they're saying, one of them says, "Hey, did you hear about the recent caravans to and from Amberhearth? It's troubling stuff. Sounds like nothing's getting through in that direction for some reason or another. It's really not a good sign for merchants who trade in that direction. You know anybody? I mean, I don't go that way myself, and I know that the rest of you don't." And they kind of start beginning to talk amongst themselves. "Oh yeah, I know so and so who goes runs that route. I'll have to let them know to be careful." They have this conversation about this sort of supposedly dangerous trade route.
Okay.
The one that goes to Amberhearth.
Amberhearth. That sounds like a pleasant place. Amberhearth, I like that name. I wonder if we'll get to visit there. All these random thoughts she's thinking.
As she's sneakily hiding among the rafters.
Yep.
Well, if they leave me and Embers alone at the table again,
Seems that way.
buckle up, Embers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna lean on the edge of the table and I'm just thinking about the day and suddenly sit up and say, "Ambers, didn't Malt say something about a guy who owned a auction house that had something stolen?" Yeah,
What of it? Squall, I think his name was.
that's right. I wonder if it's worth going to talk to Squall tomorrow too. I mean, Malt didn't say what was stolen, but what if it was one of those weapons that Mola was talking about?
I hadn't even thought about that. You might be right.
I
I'll tell you
suppose if we need another lead.
I'll tell you what concerns me. We know that they've been putting these cages all over the city. I'm a little bit afraid that there's one in that temple that Megan runs.
You might be right. Do you think they'd be a target? Are they big enough to attract attention?
Is the Millhouse?
That's fair, I suppose, but the Millhouse has connections to the kobolds.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
I mean, I am not against going to check it out. We wanted to go and see Megan anyway, didn't we?
We did. I know. There's a lot of things we have to do. I just worry.
We can make that a priority tomorrow if that's something that you're worried about.
Thank you.
Of course. Who knows how many more of these cages have been scattered around the town. It might be true that they're not going to be let out until the day of the heist, though.
Do we know anything about that? Did Molo tell us?
Well, not really much. He didn't really know much, did he?
Yeah, Molo is kind of.
He said a few days.
A few
Molo
days?
is snoring at the table. He seems to have gone into a food coma.
I've taken off my cloak and laid it over him like a blanket when he fell asleep.
You could definitely wake him up if you wanted to try and get some more details out of him or something.
I
like
don't.
that.
Yeah.
No, we'll let him sleep.
I know that we can't stop every attack. We can't be a four-person warden of our own, but if we could just
Well,
check into this one.
we can definitely do that. That's very doable. But I also think there might be some benefit of telling Torin about it, and maybe we can get the wardens to help look out for these things too. I know this isn't really your best, most comforting idea, but they have the numbers. They could go across the city much faster than our little group could.
It's not a bad plan. The problem is that it's our enemy's plan.
That's also true. They could put out a notice then and make everybody check their own places, and that'll free up the wardens to be available to do patrols on the caravan.
Maybe.
Ambers, I was curious, since you bring it up, the Brandyman Church,
Mhm.
and you said you knew Megan's grandfather.
I did.
What did you think of him? What kind of person was he?
He was an extraordinarily kind man. He ministered to people in prison who, and this was not an official part of, this was not something that they provided for us. He did this because he felt it was necessary. So he would go to me and whoever else sought counsel, which not everyone wanted, but he really helped turn me around, I think.
Was counsel something that you wanted at the time?
Not at first. Ember smiles a little bit. But
But
he wore me down.
sounds like a very nice man. Sorry to
Mhm.
hear he's not with us anymore.
He was very old.
Are you hoping to have that same connection with his granddaughter?
I think that is unlikely, given
Given
way
how
that-
she reacted.
mhm.
Do you know why she reacted like that? You'd think if you and her grandfather had such a good relationship that she would.
I don't know. I'd like to dig further into that. I was confused by that too.
Well, I'm happy to be your mouthpiece if you need it, but I think that there are some things you should speak for yourself about too. We've got you back though, Embers.
Thank you.
What is Rook doing upstairs?
He is trying to. Well, he wants to identify what this jug is and its purpose, and how it can be of use to him.
Okay. How are you going about that?
I think he's gonna he's gonna set it down very gently on the floor, or like maybe if there's like a small table or something.
Yeah, there's like a writing desk in the room, I
Okay,
believe.
so on the desk, and then sit in the chair and kind of like lean back a little bit and think deeply about what he can recall in his past from the laboratory, and try and think with his knowledge now what that possibly could have been, if there's something that he can use, and if not,
Okay.
yeah.
So I guess would that be an Arcana check from you? Or are there some like tools you're using?
I mean, it could be a whole mixture of things, but yeah, he can just like think about it, or like if there's
I
like
think you're probably going to have to run some tests because you don't have any memory
yeah,
of
so
learning what this thing
I
does.
think he would try and remember its surroundings and like what environment it was in that it could be used, and then also if there's like little like knobs or I don't know what exactly it looks like. I don't have a clear image yet. But
It's like a very clear glass jar, and it has some sort of ornamental design to it. Like no particular like symbology or anything like that, but like it's not just a plain glass jar. It's a almost decorative in a sense.
yeah.
Yeah. Some thought was put into what was going to contain this liquid. It wasn't just slapped into any random glass jar.
But it's not like
It has, it doesn't have any like buttons or knobs on the jar or anything like that. It
Okay.
just kind of has a like an airtight sealed lid at the top.
Okay.
I mean, you can see that there's like been a little bit of rubber put in there to make sure that like even if this thing is turned upside down, the liquid's not going to seep out, that sort of thing.
So there's a seal, sort of.
Mhm.
Yeah. So I think he'll sort of think about his memories and what was around it, and then also at that, and then he'll probably uncork it, and like maybe he'll,
Okay. So for that first one, let's roll just a history check, I guess, to try
Or-
and remember what you remember.
Yeah, it's either that or like insight, but
It's less of an insight.
Okay.
I would go for like a retroactive perception to sort of like think back on your memory and like see what was around there.
Okay. They're the same, so I'll just roll. Either one. I didn't do very well. That's a 12.
Oh, well, 12 I think is enough to sort of remember the things that were on the table around it.
Mm-hmm.
You often would see it around your father's smith's tools.
Okay.
Yeah, that sort of thing.
So with that, maybe gosh, I mean, maybe he would just like open up the jar after thinking about it and kind of like, you know, waft it a little bit, you know.
Yeah. When you open the jar and waft it, there's very much like a metallic smell that comes up off of there, almost like yeah, like sorts of smells you would encounter if you were like in a forge or
Mm-hmm.
like a metalworking place. That sort of scent.
Okay. But yeah, I think he would try a few different things. Like he would probably try and, if there's like a little like spoon, he'd probably dip it in the spoon, and then if it doesn't react, he might take it to like a candle and try and like heat it and just kind of run like, how does it react to temperature and
Yeah.
all those
Roll
like
just an Arcana check then.
okay. Give myself guidance on this one at least. That's a dirty 20.
Okay. It does react, so it doesn't. You kind of take a little spoonful of it out and maybe like pour some even like on a flat surface to sort of
Mhm.
see how it moves around. When you pour it out, it kind of globs together.
Mhm.
And if you like try and poke it with the spoon, it all kind of seems to like roll and flow together,
Is it
like
like
as a cohesive
is it
thing.
like hydrophobic though? Like does it like maintain its form and not like pick up stuff and like
Yeah,
keep the
yeah.
bead
So like
sort of?
you roll it over like a little bit of like dirt
Mhm.
on the surface that you're experimenting with it on, and it doesn't pick up any of the dirt.
Okay.
It stays pure and just rolls right over it.
Interesting.
You take it to the heat, and it instantly, like as soon as you begin to warm it up, it kind of loses that tense quality and becomes more of sort of like a watery liquid, very very fluid and like almost moldable. It seems to like mold to the shape of the spoon that it is in when you're heating it up from underneath.
And then like chilling it, does that harden it to some degree or like?
Um, Not necessarily chilling it, but you eventually try like you take out some of your jeweler's kits stuff and you try like striking it
Yeah.
with like
Yeah.
a little hammer,
Yeah.
and it seems really easy to mold into shape.
Okay.
And once you've molded it into a shape and like take it away from the heat, it seems to snap to a rigid position.
Huh.
And then like you can hold it in your hands and it's like a piece of hard metal.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I think I can use something like this. Do I believe that I can use it for like infusions and stuff?
Maybe in the future. You're definitely going to need to test the properties of this more before it's usable.
Okay. All right.
Okay. While Rook is about that, it's getting to be later into the night. Most of the patrons have gone home when Malt comes flying back in, and he's by himself, but he lands on the table. Looks at Tuppence, because Tuppence was the one who sent him on this mission, and says, "Well, I found your friend, but he's in no condition to come here.
Uh-oh.
I think
Sorry
he
to hear
needs
that.
help."
You know what happened?
Is he all right?
I don't think so. I can take you to him, but he needs aid quickly.
Yes,
Let's go.
Tuppence, run up and get Rook from our room real quick, all right? I think you go faster than us.
Zoom!
Ember's is like, what? Tuppence.
That's right. Because she doesn't have to dodge tables. I don't know.
It's true.
She can just fly. But
Great.
that's right, you are faster. What can you tell us about the state you found him in, Walt?
Well, I went to the barracks and spoke with the clerk there. She said that he'd gotten off his shift and headed back to his apartment, gave me an address, and so I went there. But I only made it part way there before I spotted something in an alley. And I went to investigate, and it was a body. It seemed he's still breathing, but it's labored. I
Then
couldn't
we
move
have-
him myself.
When I'm going to go.
I'll come. I'll come
Malt, lead
with
the
you.
way.
I'll come with you.
I mean, Rook is probably coming down the stairs at this point.
Yeah,
I'm assuming when as soon as Tuppence comes to get you, you come running.
Oh yeah, yeah. If Tuppence is telling me I need to leave in a hurry, probably he just.
I
stops
have
what he's
enough
doing.
magic left that I can probably help him, but we have to hurry.
This way then, and Malt flies out the door.
Running after.
You make your way across the city at a brisk pace, and it is getting dark, and sort of the fog is rolling in from the bay, so the city is getting kind of low visibility at this point. But the group of you hurry through the streets, and the electric street lamps are beginning to come on to illuminate your path. And eventually, Malt stops in front of an alley, and it's kind of like a miracle that Malt spotted Torin, because he seems pretty well hidden where he is. Actually, there's a dark alley that runs between two buildings, and in the alley there is like a bunch of trash bins and things that are kind of piled up. And you can just see like a pair of boots kind of like sticking out from behind these trash bins. And you run towards it, and then as soon as you get past the trash bins, you can see that Torin is slumped against the wall. Seems to be breathing heavily, or having labored breathing. Eyes closed, nearly unconscious, if not unconscious.
Can I make a medicine check to try and treat him?
I just
Yeah,
run
and he
up.
does have visible wounds, but yeah, roll that medicine check and I'll give you some more details.
14.
14. So you kind of slide up to him, and at a quick glance, you can see that he has a lot of sort of bruising on the areas of his skin that are visible. And there are also a lot of like dents in his armor itself. He took quite a beating from some blunt force. There are also a couple signs of like slash wounds from some sort of bladed weapon. And you said a 14 medicine?
Yeah.
You also find small piercing wounds kind of around his neck and shoulders, around there. He seems to have been heavily damaged. Elwyn, what were you going to do?
Yeah, I just immediately run up to him and I kind of try to haul his head and shoulders kind of into my lap, and I'm going to put my hands on his shoulders and I'm going to cast Cure Wounds.
Okay.
So he gets back 8 hit points.
You see a number of the wounds, especially like the slashing ones, begin to close up and knit back together. But he does not regain consciousness, and he continues to have this sort of labored breathing.
Can I run a medicine check now and see what I can learn as well, in addition to...
Yeah, sure.
I can help you.
I tried to wake him up, but nothing seemed to do the trick.
Ooh, that's pretty good. That's an 18. I don't know if that's any better than...
Yeah, I only got a 14.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a little better. You begin examining the various wounds that he has. And there is something suspicious about those, the piercing ones on him. It seems like the flesh underneath his scales there is a little bit darkened. And you can see like, yeah, it seems like your best guess would be that some sort of poison or venom has entered his system.
I'm going to stiffen and kind of raise my head and say, it's his neck. It's his neck. One of you got to get the poison out of his neck. And I kind of very gingerly put him down and stand up and back up very slowly.
Can I try and suck the poison out?
Yeah. This will be, I mean, this is a pretty tough thing because this is a procedure that doesn't actually, I think, technically work super well. And he's been here for quite a while at this point. But roll a medicine check.
Sure. Anyone want to give me guidance here or anything?
Yes, I will give you guidance
Thank
or
you.
help or whatever.
This is what, an extra D4?
Yeah, I think it's an extra D4.
Yeah.
Well, if someone's helping, that's advantage. If it's guidance, then
I'll
that's
do
an extra
guidance.
D4.
And I'll help.
How are you helping, Tuppence?
Yeah.
And how do you help someone suck the
Well,
poison out?
actually, I have a bardic inspiration.
Yeah, why don't you give me, I'll take guidance and bardic
I have
inspiration.
one more left.
All right, great. I get to roll a D20, a D6, and a D4. Can't lose.
Come on, Ember. You can do it.
Let's see. So that's
Don't take
12
this the wrong way,
plus-
but you suck.
Oh my gosh.
all right. That's a 12 plus 4 for a 16, plus a 3 from the bardic inspiration for a 19, plus a 1 from guidance for a dirty 20.
Oh dang. Yeah, that tips you over the edge to be able to do something. You begin to suck at sort of this wound here, and at first you're getting a lot of like, I mean, just kind of like blood in your mouth, and you've got to kind of like spit that out. This is a nasty procedure, what you're trying. But eventually you taste, a different taste in your mouth, something that's not blood. And it's a really vile kind of like chemical taste. And so you spit that out immediately. And what you spit out is kind of like greenish, orangish. It's a real nasty color. And as soon as you do that, like the wound in that area is still all like kind of blackened. It still doesn't look good, but his labored breathing calms a bit. And he seems like he's in less pain, but he still does not wake up.
I have turned around at this point, and I'm looking at the wall of the building, very, very focused on a specific rock or whatever, a specific grain of wood or whatever this is made out of, and just saying, how's it going back there? Did you do it?
Look, I think I've done as much as I can here. Ugh.
It sounds wonderful back there. Sounds real nice.
Torin, come on, Torin, wake up, buddy.
We should take him out of here.
We don't know where he lives. Should we take him back to the Millhouse?
I have his address if that's where you'd like to take him.
Better than
Probably
that.
closer, yeah.
What?
All right.
Also, Megan was able to dispel the poison from us, right? So,
Yeah, what if we take him to the temple? That's what I
how
was
close is the
thinking.
temple?
The temple is, let's see. Let me pop open my
He
map.
killed 2 birds with 1 stone here. Yeah.
Let's see. My map is just taking a minute to open. So Torin's apartment is, it's pretty close to like the middle of the city. And actually the temple district is not far from that.
And is that not far from us too, or?
Yeah, so right
Okay.
now the group of you would be in kind of the, you're a little bit north of the sort of the temple district where the Platinum Parish is. And you know that the Brandyman Temple is not far from there. So that's actually probably about as close to you as the Millhouse is right now.
Let's go to the
All right,
temple.
let's go to the temple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe like Rook and Embers each take like a shoulder.
That sounds great. I'll lead the way.
And then we'll kind
Come
of.
on, Bolt.
Embers, are you feeling okay? You have any
Uh,
effects?
Yeah, do I have to make like a constitution save or anything?
No, you rolled high enough on the
Okay.
medicine check that like you had an effect and you didn't harm yourself.
Okay,
I
great.
think
You were real close though.
Rook would hand
Yeah.
Embers a handkerchief too, back here to. You might want to wipe off some of the blood and stuff before we get there.
Why not
Think-
just cast prestidigitation?
I don't
think-
have. I don't have the spell anymore.
Yeah.
Or else I would.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Damn.
Embers is like doing the thing cats do, which is like licking her hand and then just like wiping off the area around her mouth.
Okay.
Embers, I'm really proud of you. You don't like him, but you saved his life possibly. I'm really, really proud of you. It's really, really nice.
Hopefully he'll remember that.
We won't rightly let him forget it now, will we, Sugar?
Okay, so the group of you are heading across the city now to the Brandyman Temple.
So
You are carrying the body of an Imperial Warden.
Yeah.
Are you going to do anything to hide that at all? I mean,
Uh,
it's getting to be nighttime, so the streets aren't terribly busy.
I have a
but
disguise kit.
You
So I
wanna
mean, I could.
pop
know.
a disguise on him.
Well,
real
I
quick?
mean, if someone stops us, we're saving his life.
Do we want to carry him like between me and Rook?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Like he's propped up on our
one,
shoulders.
One
like
of his
drunk.
arms
It's
over
not like
mine,
sack of
one his arms
potatoes
over-
carrying
Yeah.
a dead body, right?
He's like
Yeah.
drunk and passed out.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly.
Yeah.
If no one looks too closely, that might work. If someone looks
Yeah.
closely, they might notice all the denting and bruising and slashing and stabbing. But it might pass. So yeah, you head out into the city with him kind of between you. And luckily, it's not terribly busy tonight out in the city. You make your way a little bit in the south direction towards where you can already from here see the spires of the Platinum Parish, which is sort of this huge and like, I mean, monolithic sort of like Gothic style cathedral with like shiny metallic filigree to its spires that really catch the sun when it's daylight. So that's a good landmark for your general direction. And as soon as you get close to that, you have to begin to sort of look for, the smaller Brandyman Church. And it takes you a little while, but you do find it. And it's recognizable because there is a symbol of Palor that you recognize from Megan's holy symbol, sort of above the door. But the Brandyman Church is this sort of small temple. It's really on kind of like a not a large tract of land, but the land that is there is there's lots of like plants and grass on it. There's kind of like a small outdoor gazebo chapel type thing in the front, which you imagine would be useful for like outdoor services on sunny days. And you can also, as you're approaching, spot a small cemetery in the back. And then, like I said, there's kind of like a larger metal version of Palor's holy symbol that hangs above the door. But you can see that it's like golden paint is kind of peeling. And the whole place has kind of an aura of like age and a little bit of decline, because there's like patches of moss that kind of cling to the walls. And you would gather that this is probably the Brandyman Temple.
I'll knock on the door. Or if there's a knocker, I'll use that. Wrap it against the door.
There probably would be.
Yeah.
A minute goes by before you hear movement from within. Right, I'm coming. Who's there? And the door kind of peeks open just a little bit, and you can kind of see Megan looking out from inside, and she seems to be like she was probably getting ready for bed. She's in, like kind of some pajamas, like a nice dressing gown type thing. Something someone would wear to bed. But she looks out and she sees you. She says, "Oh, Embers. And Elwyn and Rook too. And who's that you've got there?"
We need some help. He's been poisoned. We're hoping that maybe you could.
Right. Wait, hold on. Let me open the door and let you in. And she kind of opens the door wider. There was like a little bit of a chain that she has to take off. And then she opens the door wide, and you can see inside. The main area is kind of just like a small church building. There's like pews for people to come and sit and enjoy sermons. There's like a pulpit area in the front. The front also has a lot of windows that seem like they would let the sun in very well. And then there's some rooms kind of off to the side, and you would presume that one of them is probably where Megan was about to, take her evening's rest. Right. Bring him over here and lay him down on one of the pews. Let me take a look.
Mm-hmm. Followed instructions.
I'm gonna linger by the door and look up and admire the
Yeah.
architecture.
It's not very impressive architecture. It's kind of a little bit dingy and old in here, and not in
Are
sort
there
of like
any-
the grand
there-
way that the Platinum Parish is. So
Are there any like statues or paintings of Paylor in here that I can focus on? So I
yeah, there
don't have to
probably
focus
would be. Maybe some statues like behind the pulpit area.
Yeah, I'll wander over that way and I'll just be inspecting the statues very closely.
She takes a look at Torin's wounds and says, "You said he was poisoned.
Yes.
Do you know where the poison entered the body? I can't seem to find. Well, there's a few slashes, but it looks like they've been healed a bit."
These bite
Check
marks.
his neck.
And
they're
yeah,
little-
Embers will point out the bite marks that she had already found.
Yes, I see. The flesh seems to be exhibiting all the signs. Well, stand back. I'll offer a prayer and we'll see what we can do, shall we? And she begins to chant that same prayer that she chanted before when she cured you of the Doppelrat's disease. And as she does so, there's sort of a glow that emanates from her holy symbol, and then it kind of coalesces around her hand, and she places it on the piercing wound at the neck. And when she takes it back, you can see that the dark coloring to the flesh under the scales has returned to a normal, healthy pinkish color. And Torin, though he's still unconscious for a brief moment more, lets out an audible like sigh of relief. And then Megan turns to the group of you and says, "Right, I think that ought to do it. I think that he should probably come around pretty soon. I must say, I don't know what poison could have been affecting him to put him in a state like this, but it's nothing I've ever seen before."
Thank you, Megan.
He's an Imperial Warden, isn't he? Judging
Yes.
by the armor. A friend
Yes,
of
that's
yours?
correct. An acquaintance.
Embers is at this point is like checked out of this conversation and is like slinking around the temple to try and look for cages.
Joining Elden.
All right, you want to roll like an investigation check? again?
Yes.
If I see her doing that, I will help.
Okay, I'll roll at advantage. I rolled 2 13s, so thanks for the help. That works out to a 16.
Okay. You poke around a bunch in this room and maybe open some of the doors. There's like a supply closet. You find like an office.
Yeah.
You
What I'm
open
specifically looking for is like cages
Yeah.
that animals might be in.
What I was warming up to is you poke around most of this building without kind of invading her like personal bedchambers,
Mhm.
and you don't find any signs of cages.
Okay.
So, area seems relatively secure.
Okay.
But she sees you poking around, and she's kind of still tending to Torin, trying to make sure that she hasn't missed anything. But she sees you poking around, and she comes over to you. Anything in particular you're looking for?
Oh, uh, uh,
What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? I've never had the opportunity to use a joke like that.
not one I've ever heard before.
I'm sure it's terribly original. I'm sorry. What can I help you with?
I was just making sure everything was okay.
Is there a reason why it wouldn't?
Just curious.
You're a bit of an odd one, Embers. You know that.
Huh?
I'm really putting my foot in my mouth. Look, and she motions you towards one of the pews. Can we talk for a minute?
Is he okay?
Yeah, I think so. He should be stable for the moment.
Sure. Let's rip this bandage off.
Yeah, so she guides you over to one of the pews and kind of sits down next to you. I know I reacted poorly to seeing you in the tavern the first time. It's just, I'd be lying if I said that I didn't have complicated feelings towards... it's strange to say towards you. It's more towards my grandfather's relationship to you. Listen, I was a bit jealous, if I'm honest. He spent so much time in his old age going back and forth between here and the prison. And look, I never really understood what it was for. And then seeing you, it just reminded me of all the time I didn't get to spend with him in his last days. Does that make sense?
It does. And sorry.
You have nothing to apologize for. It's all on me for reacting to seeing you the way I did. My granddad had such a... Well, he spoke so highly of you that I would like to get to know you, if you don't mind. I just hope that my initial reaction is something that we can move past.
Ember's like just nods slowly. Doesn't like know what to say to this.
Right, so to starting over, and she holds out a hand and says, Megan Brandyman, pleased to meet you.
Yeah, I'll take it and shake her hand. Ember's of White Ash.
Well, this is a bit awkward. I don't know what to say now.
Me neither, ever.
Listen, I don't know if now's the time because, well, there's a poisoned Imperial warden on one of my pews, but my granddad did leave something in my care in case you came this direction. He seemed to think you might, and I'd like to pass it off to you at some point in the future. And also, and she looks like she's thinking about something for a second and then decides to say it. Well, if you'd like to visit his grave, we buried him out back behind the church.
Maybe sometime when there's not an Imperial warden lying on your pew.
Absolutely understandable. Right. Well, you just let me know when you're ready to receive what he left for you, and I will. Well, I'll get it for you.
Embers just like nods and gets up and goes to join the rest.
Okay. She
When
goes back
she-
over to Torin.
I will, I'll just rub Embers' back. Good job. You did real good, Embers. I'm so proud of you.
Embers, are you still feline fine? Really, really, really still so proud of you. I'll sit on your shoulder and start petting your hair.
Does Torin wake up?
Yeah, he begins to stir.
Please say Torin wakes up.
He begins to stir before too long, and then eventually he sits up and he says, "You dragon-toothed bastards!" in a really loud voice as he kind of like sits up suddenly.
Like Rook's
And
been
then-
sitting next to him like the whole time. He just covers his mouth like, "We're in a church, Torin, please."
He's like breathing heavily and looking around wildly. "Oh, where am I? What is this place?
What's this chapel called?
Where'd they
again?
go?
The Brandyman
were-
Chapel.
They were
The
all around
Brandyman
me.
Church. Yeah.
Yeah. So Rook will be like, it's the Brandyman Church. We rescued you. You were in an alley.
And the Brotherhood.
Don't know.
They get away?
Well, they weren't with you.
Were you alone when this
He
happened?
kind of like is feeling his heartbeat. Oh, I don't feel so good.
He didn't look so good either.
What happened? What did they get you with?
I was walking home from my shift, and oh, it's all so foggy. I remember I caught a glimpse in a back alley. Robes matching the description. And I followed, and one of them, she said they were waiting for me to pass this way. I don't remember much after that.
Elwyn kind of sits down really hard and she looks around at the rest of the group and says, Those wardens we saw when we fought the apes, we told them to find him. You don't think they did this, do you? Were they part of the Brotherhood? Did we do this?
That's terrible to think about.
Torin's like rubbing his temples.
I really wish I had a spell slot for review memory.
Torin, was
Dang
there
it.
an animal? Were you bitten?
No. He kind of like rubs the neck. One of them threw a dart at me. And I remember a stinging, and then a burning, and then nothing. Then
Did you get a look at who it was that attacked you? Or did they have hoods up or something?
I saw her face. Well, I saw all their faces, but there were 4 of them.
No one you recognized?
He shakes his head.
Oh, that's a
But
relief.
they were targeting you specifically.
Who else have you been talking to
the
about
woman,
this?
she said she was the one who hit me with the dart in the neck. She said that, yeah, she was looking for me. She was waiting for me.
What was she? Human? Dwarf?
He nods. Yeah, human woman.
Well, we'll just have to-
My head really hurts.
Okay. Do you want help back to your apartment, or would you rather stay here with Megan tonight? By the way,
Megan kind of looks at you like, what? Oh, I really only have the chambers for one. There's not really a place. I
Let's
suppose
help
you
him back to his apartment. Tuppence. I think
could
that's
sleep on the pew, I suppose.
but what if the poison's not all gone? You think the poison's all gone?
Megan takes another look, sort of at the wound.
I think Embers would just say to Tuppence, I trust Megan.
Yeah.
I think that I've done a good enough job. I think that prayer ought to have done it. As far as I can tell, the poison should be removed from the system.
Okay, that's a relief.
Torn, what else did they say to you? What? Do you have any reason why they did this?
He shakes his head.
Thorin, who else have you been talking to about this theory you have about the Brotherhood?
Well, I haven't been talking to much of anyone. We spoke at the tavern. I went to
Very
work
loudly.
the next day. What are you talking about? Very loudly? We were discreet. He shouts at you.
So anyone at the tavern that day could have heard what you had to say about them.
Perhaps if they were adept at listening discreetly. Then I went to work, did my patrols, and tried to do a little bit of digging, but didn't have much time. I didn't speak to anyone about it. Not that I can remember.
So you can't think of any other reason that they would know to target you.
He kind of again, just holds his temples, closes his eyes, and then shakes his head left and right.
Did you file any paperwork? Were there any reports where you mentioned this case?
No, nothing yet. I was waiting for the group of you to gather some concrete evidence that I could use to further the investigation.
Do you have
Well-
any? Or sorry, go ahead.
Well, we don't have anything too concrete yet, but we might have a lead. It's what we were coming to talk to you about.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, do you have any connection to the governor or anything? Are you guys siblings or something, or do you have any reason?
That's
to-
racist.
Huh? No, I mean no, I mean I'm
We're
just
both
connected-
dragonborn.
Huh?
No, he says, "What?
I'm
Governor?"
not sure Zach knew that Nyasa was a dragonborn.
Oh yeah, maybe not. Well, Nyasa is a dragonborn. He shakes his head and says, "Governor Nyasa?
Yeah.
No, I don't think she knows who I am. I mean, I certainly know who she is. She saved my life."
I'm sure that's a story we would love to hear at some point, but not entirely relevant right now, I don't think.
It's a pretty well-known story. It's how she became a member of the Draco Spears.
I'll take your word for it. Listen, we got to get you home, and we can talk maybe at your place. We'll tell you what we found out.
If you're up to it.
He sits up and he seems like he's thinking clearly again for the first time. He says, "Actually, instead of going home, there's another stop I need to make. I have a sister in the city. If they knew where to find me, they might know where to find her. I'd like to go check on her, and then once I've ensured her safety, perhaps I come meet you at the tavern in the morning."
What happens if you run into these people again? You were on death's door when we found you.
He kind of rubs the back of his head a little sheepishly. I think they assumed I was done for, or they wouldn't have left me behind in the state they did. I
But-
probably have a little bit of leeway to move under their radar for the moment.
But if they're
Well,
already, well, okay. Maybe we should come with you.
He nods. Seems like he's fine with that.
Yeah, I think that's a smart idea. We'll come with you.
Would Embers know if Rook knows the mending cantrip?
Yes, because he casted it in the cellar.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I think she would just point and say, Rook, it's not very comfortable to move in dented armor. If you
Oh.
could.
Yeah, that's a good call. I didn't think about that. And so Rook will cast mending on Torrin's
Ha!
armor.
Good as new, he says as you begin casting the spells. Megan is she looks a little bit overwhelmed. She's kind of quietly listening to all of this. And then she leans over to Elwyn and says, "Have I stumbled into the middle of something bigger than I want to be involved in?"
Perhaps. But do us a favor and check your basement or hidden compartments for cages and strange creatures. And if you find one, don't let it out.
I take it that's what Embers and you were looking for earlier then.
Yeah, similar to the thing we found in the Millhouse. Sounds like there's a bunch of
Ah.
them all over the town.
Right. Well, I'll give a thorough search, but I doubt anyone would be targeting the Brandyman Church. We're really nothing special.
If you can think of any other place that might be a good site for a good distraction, you might consider spreading the word too.
She kind of throws up her hands. Well, I'll see what I can do, but to be honest, a lot of this sounds quite above my head. And quite frankly, like something I ought not be involved in.
Well, you're probably right about that. We'll get out of your hair, Megan, and thank you again.
Elwyn, would you roll an insight check on her as she said that?
Yes. Ooh, 18.
18. When she says, to be honest, it's probably something I shouldn't be involved in. There's sort of an interesting expression that crosses her face just briefly. Like she doesn't fully mean the words she's saying, or yeah, I mean, it's a little bit hard to read exactly what the expression means, but she does something with her face there that kind of casts into doubt the, I mean, how much she meant what she said, I guess.
She's lying to herself, sort of, or like.
Like
Yeah,
she's
maybe.
saying, I shouldn't get involved, but she clearly wants to be involved.
Like she's
Maybe.
Kind of
curious or
thing.
Yeah,
something.
could
Okay.
be.
Okay. I think I will kind of look at her and then put a hand on her shoulder and say, do you want to come along with us? Just in case we need another healing or something. I'm spent. I can't save anyone anymore tonight. We could use you.
where
Unless you
where are
were
we going? Over
planning to
to
go to
this
bed.
man's apartment, you said?
He wants to check on his sister, make sure she's.
Right. All right. I
You
suppose
don't have to fight, but we could use a
I'm
healer.
up for an evening stroll.
Yeah, come along with us.
Cool.
Do you need to change first?
She looks down at herself. Oh, I didn't. Just a moment, and
We
she
can
kind
wait.
of runs back into the back room. She didn't even like register that she was in her nightwear this whole time.
I was gonna say, unless you were planning to go to bed, but
Yeah, and she comes back out in like not her full priest robes, but kind of like daily citizen wear. Right. Shall we get to move on then?
Ember's nods.
Yeah.
all right, Torin, lead the way.
Right. Off we go. And he seems to have pretty much regained his vigor at this point. And he leads you out into the city. And I suppose that's probably a good place to end. Nothing exciting happens though, as you make your way across the city to check on his sister. When he gets to the house where his sister lives,
What's her name?
I have that in my notes.
Dang.
Dragonborn name generator.
Her name is Dickory.
It's not Dickory. It's Safara Brenwarham is her name. You see him kind of go to the door. He has a brief interaction with a very sleepy looking white dragonborn woman. She seems alarmed when at something he says. But then she goes back into the house and Torin comes back to you and says, right, well, I've told her to pack. She's got friends she can stay with. I think she'll be safer there. So that takes care of that.
Are you going to be safe at your home too? Or do you want to come back with us to the Millhouse?
For Nora.
Yeah, he'd
be a paying customer though.
I do have enough
Perhaps.
money to rent a room for a few days. That might be a good idea. Good thinking. And he kind of looks through his coin pouch, gives a little bit of a frown. It'll be fine. And
It's
then
all right. I can help cover it.
the group of you begin tripping off towards the Millhouse. And yeah, it's an uneventful evening for the rest of the time. So you make your way back to the Millhouse, and we will pick up there next week.
Okay.
Right.
I also want to say that I was filling in Megan on the events of the last day and a half or whatever as we're
okay,
walking
yeah.
through the town. Just
Catch
so
her
that
up to
she's
speed.
Up to speed. Yeah.
Very good. All right. Well, we'll pick up there next week, Monday, 7 p.m. Pacific time. Thank you guys for playing, and thank you to anyone who tuned in to watch. Hope to see you back again soon. Have a nice night. Bye.
All right.
Bye.